This YouTube video is showing how to replace your old brass sprinkler valves with valves that are set up for automatic sprinkler on a timer. And the first step is to replace the brass valve with this. That will require digging down to where it's tapped into the PVC piping. I used galvanized years ago and I put this system in, but we will put it in all PVC. It's going to require 2 equal length tubes, and also will require what they call a universal fitting that will go between the new pipe coming up that is threaded one end and a stub that will go in here. As you can see, the direction of flow is from the water supply, which is this. That feeds, as you can see down here, all of these. And then this is the exit that will feed the individual sprinkler systems. I have 4 valves on this particular system, and it'll be controlled by a controller, which will be over here next to this electrical box that will supply the power to it.
We're going to get right back to the video, but guys, I want to thank today's sponsor, which is Premium Jane. It is a high-end CBD product company that has everything that your hearts could desire. We have gummy bears, we have oil, even CBD for your pets, and it comes in different doses and strengths as well. They have CBD Solve, which is actually, I really enjoy this. This is the eucalyptus, and they come in many different scents and flavors, etc. I really enjoy this because if you have any sore areas, in my life, especially after the gym, I'm in boxing class and I just rip up my shoulders. So what I like to do if they're really sore, I just like to rub it on my shoulders before bed. You wake up and you feel like a champ, not to mention it smells absolutely wonderful, the eucalyptus. Again, they come in many different scents and flavors as well. They also have the high-end CBD oil. This is the mint flavor in 600 milligrams. Also, one right here that I really do enjoy as well are the gummy bears. And so there's definitely different options if you're not into the Solve Rub or the liquid drops. You can also try their gummy bears as well, which I personally really enjoy. If you're feeling a little bit sore after your workout, I just pop a gummy bear. So as you age with the creaks and pains in your body, especially during labor like this video, high-end CBD products, I personally enjoy better than popping name brand painkillers, etc. And Premium Jane Company is giving you guys, my viewers, a 25% discount. That link is below. Use the code Binsberg. It's all below. The website link, my code, it's all below. Use my code at checkout for 25% off your order. Now, right here in front of us is the mint flavor. This is the 600 milligram, and this is liquid. Now, something to keep in mind for those very sensitive to it, this does contain 0.3. That again is 0.3 THC. So that is very, very minuscule amount, but I am just letting you know, or those very sensitive to that. Eucalyptus, and it smells absolutely wonderful. The oil does have 0.3 as well. The gummy bears do not state on the packaging that it does have it, but these are vegan, and I highly recommend these. These are really, really cool. This is what they look like inside, different flavors. And so whether you want the rub, whether you want to chew a gummy bear, or whether you want to do premium CBD oil mint flavor, again, different flavors, then there's many different options for your taste or scents for your rub. Check out their website, see what they have, look at the CBD products they have for pets, and enjoy. I just want to thank you again, Premium Jane, for sponsoring this video.
Okay, these fixtures are actually called unions, not universals, as I misnamed it in the last segment, but it will go on here. I have a short stub that goes into the bottom of this. The way a union works is it allows you to break free something and then join it together like this very simply, and you'll see when everything's together. The reason I've got such long ones is to get it above the soil and also provides a little bit of flexibility when going in here. These orbits are not exact match for distance between the center to center, the center to center, but there's enough flexibility, I believe, that I can get it in. So you can see we've removed the other 3. The 5th one I'll have to cut. I use a Sawzall and cut that, and then take off that one in order to make my connections. But you can see the main line, water line, is all on one side. That will be on this side, water in through the valve and then down into the various circuits of the sprinklers.
And when you are removing these pipes from the main water line, just make sure that no mud gets into the main water line. You might want to wipe off the bottom portion before you unscrew that. So first off, Pops was holding a pipe wrench down here. I was using a crescent wrench. we were loosening up the little knob down here, which fell straight down. We were able to then, once that is disconnected, be careful when you're swinging the other portion around, disconnecting from the main water line, not to break this, because it's going to turn around and try to nub up against that before it finally unscrews. Watch your mud going in there, and we set those aside right there. This one, we couldn't get that big nut to move or budge on us, so like Pop said, he's gonna sawzall that off.
Okay, this is the sawzall with a metallic cutting blade. I'm gonna use it to cut that nipple in between the union and the champion brass old valve. You could use a handheld grinder with a cutting wheel as well, whatever you have on hand. So anyway, this is how it goes. Don't want to jiggle it too much because I don't want to break the PVC pipe. As you can see, it's very, so maybe I'll have Chris put one hand on it, kind of steady it if he can while filming, or maybe he'll shut it off and then film.
Now again, the only reason we did that was because that washer nut, whatever you want to call it, was really tight on there. As you can see here, Pops is putting new PVC pipe into those threaded areas there, and we're just gonna literally recycle those old ones there. But since those ones were able to drop off like we just showed you, being able to unscrew it, that was very simple. But the Sawzall does come in handy when there is a messed up, whatever you want to call it there. Now what we're gonna do here is you can do it two different ways. Whatever wrench you have there, these aren't too bad. And we're gonna go ahead and rotate it, obviously rotate it in the right direction. And we do wanna obviously protect the PVC pipe down below as we are doing this. And then so use your wrench, whatever you have, to get the momentum started, and then go ahead and do it by hand. We will, again, be cleaning the bottom portion before we do unscrew it by hand completely. So let me go over here. It's almost hand loose and ready, as you can see there. So we'll go ahead and hold here for a moment. We'll clean down below all that grit and grime so that when we do pull it, that's not gonna seep into our hole into our main line.
I might add that before you complete your installation, get all your valves in place and then flush the system just to get, as you can see, there is debris in the lines here. So we'll flush the system
before we
finish the job.
The full install.
Okay, so
that's how these come out right here. As you can see from the main line, just pops right up. You'll get some water that might gunk out. We do need to watch exactly where Pops is shooing away the dirt. And again, we'll flush the line completely before we give it a go.
And we'll take out the last pipe. Chris is going to hold the top, put pressure down while I turn it. You want to put your other hand on there. And we'll take this pipe out. Again, being careful not to
here we go.
break the
PVC pipe down below. But again, we're just removing these old pipes to put in fresh ones. The main line is going to stay the same with that PVC pipe, but we're just getting rid of the metal pipes coming up from the PVC. Pipe wrench is coming in nice and handy. Wipe that off just like the other ones before we completely loosen that up by hand, as you can see here. And now that stubborn one we just sawzawed came off real easy. So again, we had to do that to all 5, the same process except for the Sawzall, like we just mentioned. That's looking great. All right, this is what we have here. We actually have 5 of these. I'll link them in the description box below if you want to pick up the same system by Orbit. These are 3/4 sprinkler valves that we already showed you. Again, one is right down here. We have, again, 5 of them because we had 5 spouts. Here is our easy set logic sprinkler timer system. That what this does, it is indoor mount, outdoor mount. It does not have Wi-Fi. So again, if you want to go for like a Wi-Fi system, a little bit more beefier, we'll leave that up to you. We'll just leave some of these options in the description box right below the video. We also have some wiring here to wire these up, and you will need power. Somehow getting power to it. We conveniently have an outlet not too far away from our sprinklers, so we'll go ahead and mount a line real strategically. Not exactly sure how that's going to play out yet, but we'll of course be showing you as the video progresses. All right, we're actually going to jump forward here, but I do want to talk about one small mistake we did that is not necessary. Put pipe dope on the pipe connectors, and the instructions are actually calling for plumber's tape. It's up to you whether you want to do pipe dope or plumber's tape. In my opinion, plumber's tape might be a little bit easier to work with, and if you have some over gunk spillage, it won't be as noticeable. So keep that in mind as we progress forward. But just read your directions to see what they're calling for as well for your system.
Yeah, this is the pipe dope, pipe sealant it's actually called. I've never seen it this color, but I prefer pipe dope over the nylon or Teflon ribbon stuff you can buy, just because it'll last a lot longer, supposedly. You want to go easy on the dope. You don't want it to get in the mechanism, so that's why I'm having to judiciously, and they've got the label, unfortunately, on this one, covering some of the threads. So I'll peel that off and get that out of the way. Wipe my hands on the shop towel. There. They say you don't need to coat the inside or the inside on pipe less than an inch in diameter, but I do it just for safety reasons or for ensure. So you start it by hand. I'll tighten it up not to crack the fitting with some channel locks in a minute. I got a stubby, as you can see, a stubby nipple, and then I'm going to put the one union in each place here, and then fasten it to the pipes below.
So he's going to put pipe dope as well on this before he screws that portion on.
And also in the interior.
And also in the interior of this as well. All right.
So yeah, what the unions on either the fitting side of the fitting do allow you to change the valve much more easily than what we had to do here. We had to go all the way down and dig out. Okay, as I mentioned with the unions, you don't need to put dope in here because it has a sealing ring there, O-ring. So when you tighten that down very firmly, it'll snug it in place and you don't have to worry about it. Now I do put dope inside here and on the ends of the pipes. You can see here I put in the stubs into the valves, and then I have also made sure that I had it on properly with the water coming this way and then down into the circuit. And you'll notice that you can do it off and on. You can operate it manually to adjust your I should say to purge it, and then you use this to adjust the flow. I'll go ahead and complete all of these today, and then install the control unit that he showed you earlier tomorrow. Get it all hooked up electrically, and we're good to go. And as you can see here, because of the unions, I'm allowed to have a little flexibility in the distancing between the pipes. The original brass valves, the spacing wasn't exactly, but as you can see, there's just a little bit of taper, and that's okay. I had enough flexibility in my pipes with plastic in order to do that. With galvanized, you wouldn't have that same flexibility. Hardest part of the job so far is to dig it all out and get rid of the galvanized pipes, as you can see. Well, we're in the wiring phase, and they sell special wire. This happens to be 7-strand for sprinkler systems, which this will handle 4 by itself, so I had to run 2 lines to catch the 5th one over there. But the commons usually are normally white, so I brought all the commons together with one wire nut. I'll tape these later. And then every valve gets a different colored wire, green, brown, and red, and blue. And then that one I'll just have to take white for the common again, and I'll probably use a green. I did use a green, in fact. So I'll bring it up in here and I'll join the 2 commons together, and then it goes into the common tab there. And then each of the other 5 will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into here. I'm gonna go get a squeeze connector. For some reason, I don't happen to have any. I used to have tons. I gave away all my electrical supplies. So anyway, these 2 cables will go through the squeeze connector, and that will hold it in place. I've run up with some brackets, if you would, and then also the electrical cord that'll go into the receptacle back there. You can see I put in the what I call the squeeze connector, which is what most electricians call them. The technical name is a non-metallic cable connector. It's a 3/8 trade size and goes in a 1/2 inch knockout, as it says here. And since I had to run 2 cables, I jumpered together the commons, connected it to the common terminal here. I used the green over here to activate this one, so that'll be in the number 2 position, number 1 position for the green here. And I have spares, 3 spares, which are just put in this wire nut to keep them out of trouble. And then the other 3 then go down the line here, and I've got 1 spare, which I will not need.
We'll show you a little bit more in depth, but it's working like a charm. Now it is set right now to, again, 5 total, 10 minutes a pop, Thursdays and Sundays at 7 p.m. It is currently 7 p.m. and it's going to automatically, without you touching it at all, go 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. That's 50 minutes total, 2 times a week. And it's going to automatically put on the sprinklers. Again, I used to have to come out here, go inside, set an alarm on Alexa, blah, blah, blah. We're going to go ahead and fill this in, and so we'll be back with you during that duration, but it's working like a charm, watering all our area here without any issue. Now, I do want to discuss something real briefly here. As we were testing it for the first go around, we did see some water slosh out of some of these, out of the areas right through here. That is now ceased, so you might get a little backflow coming out on some of these your first go around, but you want to go ahead and not be alarmed. So my dad says that after his initial test that did happen, I saw it myself with my own eyes. Right through this crack came some water and is now ceased, and it's working great.
The instructions said that a little bit of seepage is normal, a little bit of drizzle during operation is normal, but this is the second cycle through all of them and it hasn't reoccurred. I think part of it was that the settings on the flow were a little bit minimal, and that was causing some shaking and vibration, so that was part of it anyway. Instructions for the unit here are pretty concise, and right now it's on auto, and we've got 7 minutes left on this last cycle. Anyway, the instructions tell you to first set the clock time, set the date, time you want it to start, the run time, 8, 9, 10, 12 minutes. Let's say how often, that would be your days. You can do odd days, even days, you can do every day, and then these other settings we're not using, but it has the ability to do quite a bit. You can do a rain delay if it rains, and anyway, it's a pretty cool system. It costs about $60, I think, for this unit.
For this one has a lock key as well, so no one fiddle faddles with your sprinklers. We'll give you another option below in the description box as well with this one that has Wi-Fi capable. This one again does not, if you want to upgrade to that one. Any final thoughts?
It does have a battery backup that's
battery backup
behind here in case you lose power. So you need to replace the battery, they say, about once a year.
Replace the battery about once a year?
That's in case so you don't lose your program if you have a momentary outage. And I might add that the instructions say not to do what I did, which is use pipe dope, but to use Teflon tape. But I was very judiciously applied it, so everything seems to be working even though I didn't follow the directions to a T.
Well, folks, this is the end product. It has done a couple cycles now, and we're very pleased with it. The only other thing that you might want to consider, if this system is not up towards the front of your house, if it's on the side of your home, is maybe investing in one of those fake rocks that goes over the top of it. Pops has done his best with electrical taping around some of the screw nuts. You do have wires running down right over here and connecting all these. So you might want to come up with a different system. You might want to wrap all these cords a little bit. I'm not sure if he's 100% done or not, just so that there won't be any rodents chewing on these wires or anything like that. You can maybe get some heat shrink, big heat shrink, and go ahead and tie those up, make that look a little bit more streamlined. We'll leave that up to you. But we just filled in the rocks here, and now it's looking really good here. Our box is right up here, connected over to a power supply here. And if you are wondering, the estimated cost was about $300. That was several trips to Home Depot for odds and ends little trinkets. You might have some of those parts in your garage already. That cost will differ though if you do go with a Wi-Fi box, but it was around $300 in my guesstimation. This would have been well over the $1,200 mark to have somebody dig that out and put it in this same system. So you save a lot of money. You have that do-it-yourself reward afterwards. Well, again, everything that we use in the video is going to be listed in the description box below. I'll give you a Wi-Fi option as well. Thank you again to Premium Jane for sponsoring this video. So once again, look for that code for Premium Jane, 25% off your order. All that's in the description box below. Hit that thumbs up button if you wouldn't mind on your way out, and subscribe for more DIY builds and tech reviews. We'll see you guys on the next one. Take care for now. Bye-bye. Don't let the party stop, guys. Hit one of these videos, continue to watch. We'll see you soon.